This is NBC 10 Live at Issue.
Live at Issue 11/11/07. In the suburbs, Republicans win again. But Democrats narrow the gap. The 2007 elections, what they mean and what you can expect in 2008.
Good morning. I'm Steve Highsmith. This is Veterans Day. To all veterans of the Armed Forces of the United States, thank you. Now to the election. What has it changed or not changed?
For Democrats, it was to have been a history-making day. A rising tide begun in 2005 sweeps over the 4 suburban Philadelphia counties in southeastern Pennsylvania. The tide rose, but the results mixed. Turnout was roughly 30% in southeast Pennsylvania. Michael Nutter got 82% of their vote in Philadelphia. Statewide, Democrats won 3 of 5 statewide judgeships, including both open Supreme Court seats, and picked up control of 10 new counties out of Pennsylvania's 67. But in the countywide races in the Pennsylvania suburbs, Republicans held. Only in Bucks County did Democrats come razor-thin close to taking control.
And the Bucks County Commission results, Jim Cawley, the incumbent, got the most votes. Diane Marseglia, the Democrat, gained a seat, and Charlie Martin narrowly won victory to keep Republicans in control in Bucks County over Steve Santasiro. Less than 1,500 votes difference there. Also, the results are interesting in Montgomery County. Here now on Live at Issue are Democrat Joe Hoeffel and Republican Bruce Castor, the 2 newly elected members of the Montgomery County Commission. Let's take a look at the results quickly there. The Montgomery County Commission results show it was a big win for Bruce Castor, getting some 84,000 votes. And when you go then to the second and third, Joe Hoeffel second, very close over Jim Matthews. In fact, I think it's less than 1 person per district is how close it was, but finishing 1, 2, 3 there. Ruth Damsker coming in fourth and not making it back on the commission. Let's start with Bruce Castor. You got the most votes. What do you make of the election results?
I think the election results show sort of the changing demographics in southeast Pennsylvania. I think that voters voted for the person and not the party. When it got to the point where they didn't know either side, the default was Democrat. I think that the default was Democrat because of some of the national issues that are affecting the Republican Party, and certainly in statewide, too, with some of the things going on in Harrisburg. So I think that the election results show that the voters voted for people that they knew, and when they didn't know, they voted for the Democrat.
Same take or slightly different?
Well, same take. I think the Democrats are moving forward in the county. Ruth and I were disappointed not to win a majority. We thought that we would, but we picked up 5 row office seats for the first time in history, including the controller's position, which is incredibly significant. So we breached the wall of the Republican bastion. Some of us got through, and the rest of us are coming.
So you see this rising tide building from 2005, 6, 7, and you think carrying into 2008?
Absolutely right.
But in terms of governing, how does it affect the dynamic of how you two and Jim Matthews will govern, Mr. Castor?
Well, Joe and I have always gotten along when he was in county government before, and I was in the district attorney's office, and I don't expect that that will change. I mean, clearly, the voters have spoken that they want bipartisan government, and speaking for myself, I suspect that Joe agrees, is that, you know, that's what we're going to give them.
You are going to endorse him or back him, vote for him for chairman?
We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if the Republicans can actually govern. They won as a team. Let's see if they are a team.
What does that mean, they can govern?
Well, if they can't agree with each other, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Are you saying if
county
Mr. Matthews then wants to be chairman as opposed to Mr. Castor being chairman?
I think it's unsettled.
It's unsettled.
Now, my goal, though, is bipartisan government. I think that the power needs to be shared in order to deliver the best government to the citizens of Montgomery County.
Have you decided whether you definitely want to be chairman or whether you would endorse Mr. Matthews for that?
Well, I want to discuss that with both my colleagues on the commission. I think that, and I agree with Joe, that, listen, we all have to make important major decisions, the 3 of us. I agree that the days of it just being 2 people deciding everything are over, because that's what the public wants.
I want to play for you a soundbite from Jim Matthews the night of the election when he found out that he would be back on the commission. Let's listen to that.
It was not a race for the hearts and minds of the people of Montgomery County. It was a character assassination attempt by the opposition. Totally devoid of any issue, of a platform, of anything to get their people out to vote.
Now, normally speeches at that time of the night are conciliatory. So you would consider voting for Jim Matthews to be chairman after he basically said you guys were character assassinating him?
Well, I haven't decided what I'm doing for chairman. I'm looking forward to the discussions that Bruce just referred to. But Ruth and I had a very positive platform. Sure, we hit the Republicans hard on the patronage abuses in the courthouse, which I still want to get cleaned up. But we talked about an economic development fund to reinvest in our older communities. We talked about dealing with sprawl and traffic. Those are the things that the new Board of Commissioners needs to focus on.
Both of you agree no tax increase in Montgomery County in 2008?
I think that decision's already been made publicly.
Well, you pledged that, and everybody's moved forward on that, but no surprises even at the end of 2008 for 2009, none of that stuff?
Well, no, remember, Joe and I don't have any say in what the tax rate's going to be next year. That will be set by the current board, and they have already announced that they're going to reduce.
Right, but in 2008, when the decision-making process goes forward for 2009.
For 2009, I don't see any indication that the tax increase is warranted. I think that we'll continue our economic growth and we'll make money that way and not by having to raise taxes.
Same?
No tax increase.
And if you get, in some way, that extra money that you want for the economic development platform that you talked about, which the Republicans said could cost $100 million to everything, not just the economic portion, that was about half that. Would there still be pressure for that, or do you think you could find the money without a tax increase?
Oh, we can find the money. The county's in good financial shape. And it's got tremendous borrowing authority, which is the appropriate thing to do for economic development projects, because those projects build the tax base and create jobs. That's a good use for your capital dollars.
Mr. Castor, do you see evidence in any of the elections around the state or the suburban counties as more proof of what you said earlier, that the Republican Party needs to evolve or change a little bit in some way?
Well, I think so. I mean, the 5 statewide judicial races, only 2 of which were won by the Republicans, those were the candidates that the state party did not endorse originally in the spring. Ultimately, Jackie Shogun was endorsed when a vacancy occurred in the fall. I think we need to focus more precisely on suggesting to the voters that that our candidates be ones that they want to vote for. We have to look very closely at how it is we win elections. Yes, you want philosophy. Yes, you want good quality government people, but you want people who can get votes.
Mr. Hoeffel, people have been talking to me in the Democratic Party this week that already they're going to ask you to run against Jim Gerlach. Have you ruled that out, or is that a possibility?
There's no chance of that.
No chance running next year against Jim Gerlach. When you look at, may I ask you one district attorney question?
Sure.
There is some talk that the Finland gunman was in communication with the local person in Montgomery County in the White Marsh story. Can you tell us what's going on with that, and are you investigating that?
Well, I heard wire reports, probably the same ones that came through here, that the boy who was involved in the massacre in Finland had been talking on the internet with Dylan Cossey here in Montgomery County, the White Marsh case. We don't know that to be true or not. Obviously, there's some efforts that have to be gone to internet service provider records and that sort of thing to be able to check that out.
Finally, a question just about governing. This is a polarized society that we seem to be living in politically. You have a 48-52, basically 50-50 kind of county now in terms of the election results. Can you govern in a way that truly moves forward, or is it an obstructionist thing? I mean, can you both really think that you can work together?
Absolutely. And what I want is bipartisan government with all 3 commissioners in harness, working together. The reality is, with the election of the controller, Diane Morgan's terrific victory as controller, she and I make up 2 of the 4 members of the salary board, so there can't be any hiring and firing if we don't have bipartisan government. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I agree with Joe on that. I think that the campaign is behind us. The public has spoken loudly that at least for the next 4 years it expects us to all work together in a bipartisan manner. And as far as I'm concerned, I intend to do that.
All right. Thank you both for being here. Bruce Castor, Joe Hoeffel, good luck with you.
Thanks.
Up ahead, a look at the new day in the city of Philadelphia from 2 candidates who won election to city council. When Live at Issue comes right back.
You're watching NBC 10, Live at Issue.